Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rory McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Pope Francis renewed his appeal for peace in Ukraine and in all regions after the Angelus on the Feast of the Assumption. He condemned the prevalence of conflict where the din of weapons covers up attempts at dialogue and the right of force prevails over the force of right. The Holy Father asked the faithful to adopt a spirit of service, citing the example of the Blessed Mother, who went in haste to help her expectant cousin Elizabeth. In the Holy Land, the vigil of the Solemnity of the Assumption was held in the Garden of Gethsemane, and a procession carrying a figure of the sleeping Virgin Mary went from the cenacle to the Church of Gethsemane. A Mass was also held at the Dormition Abbey Benedictine Church in Jerusalem. The Vatican Secretary of State travelled to the northern city of Malakal in South Sudan's Upper Nile state on his second day in the country. In Malakal, Cardinal Parolin celebrated Mass at the Cathedral of St. Joseph. It was on Monday that the Cardinal started the 4-day trip to advance the peace process that Pope Francis and the local church have long pushed for. The top Vatican official condemned the numerous conflicts that impact people around the globe, including South Sudan's civil war. He mentioned the large number of people who had fled their homes due to strife, while also citing a great plague of revenge that was destroying communities. The Cardinal called on the people of South Sudan to embrace the spirit of peace and reconciliation to build a harmonious society. In Hong Kong, 7 pro-democracy activists, including media mogul Jimmy Lai and attorneys Martin Lee and Martin Ng, were acquitted on Monday of the charge of orchestrating a protest against the extradition law in 2019. However, the court upheld their verdicts and punishments related to taking part in that protest. Lai and 6 others had initially been found guilty of orchestrating and knowingly participating in an unauthorised assembly in 2019. They were given prison terms of up to 18 months in April in 2021, while others had their sentences postponed. A lawsuit in the US state of Texas is aiming at mandating Planned Parenthood to return millions of dollars in Medicaid payments. The state is seeking to recover at least $17 million from the largest abortion provider in the country. A hearing was set to be held on Tuesday in front of US District Judge Matthew Kaczmarek. The organisation received money before it was removed from the Medicaid program of the state in 2021. Texas had attempted to remove Planned Parenthood 4 times prior and is now seeking repayment for the services that were billed during that period. The state filed the lawsuit under the False Claims Act, calling for fines for every alleged improper payment. The Peruvian Episcopal Conference has expressed its firm rejection of calls for a so-called therapeutic abortion for an 11-year-old girl who became pregnant because of rape. The girl had been assaulted by her stepfather. The bishops of Peru urged that the nation does not open the doors to the culture of death. They demanded that the girl be properly guarded and that she be helped to heal, that she not be subjected to an abortion, and that the rapist be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. In a statement, the bishop said that life is sacred. Rescuers in North India were looking for survivors of the devastating flash floods and landslides on Tuesday. At least 65 people are thought to have died in the intense rains, which swept away vehicles and damaged buildings and bridges, especially in places close to the Himalayas. Flooding and landslides are common and cause widespread devastation during the monsoon or rainy season. However, experts say climate change is increasing their frequency and severity. At least 52 people have been killed in the North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh, with thousands more stranded after roads were washed away and power and communication networks were disrupted. In neighbouring Myanmar, at least 36 people are feared dead after landslides were reported at a mining site in Kachin state. The US Centre for Disease and Prevention has released data that says 2022 witnessed an all-time high in the rates of suicide in America. As per provisional data released by the centre, nearly 50,000 people took their lives last year alone. That marked an increase of around 1,000 deaths since 2021. Last year, close to 40,000 men and just over 10,000 women took their own lives. The rates for both sexes marked an increase of 4% compared with the previous year. The CDC figures were based on death certificate information. However, the Public Health Agency said the provisional data is just an estimate, as its National Centre for Health Statistics has not yet fully reviewed the certificate data. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has called for action to be taken in conflict-hit Sudan, as the war is having a devastating impact on people's lives, health and well-being. Volker Turk warned that the conflict in the African nation has resulted in thousands of casualties, the destruction of family homes and important infrastructure. The UN Refugee Agency said that over 4.3 million people have been forced to flee since fighting broke out between the military and the paramilitary rapid support forces. At least 90,000 refugees have already fled to neighbouring countries, and 195,000 South Sudanese people have been forced to leave the country. Agency spokesperson William Spindler said that within Sudan, more than 3.2 million people have been internally displaced. There are also reports that 67% of hospitals in conflict-ridden areas are dysfunctional, leaving tens of thousands of sick people without proper care. Muslim fundamentalists in Indonesia blocked an evangelical church from conducting its Sunday service in a makeshift venue in one town and damaged a Christian place of worship that was under construction in another. On the 9th of August, a mob armed with hammers and clubs damaged the still under construction prayer hall in Kabil village in Batam city. A video clip on social media shows one of the assailants saying that the Pentecostal Mission Church in Indonesia had no permit to build a prayer hall there. However, Pastor Sham Napitupulu said that the congregation had a letter allowing them to construct a hall. Muslim demonstrators in Tanjung Merawa village in North Sumatra province also protested on the 6th of August against an evangelical church using a warehouse for its Sunday worship. North Korea has strongly opposed an upcoming United Nations Security Council meeting that will discuss its human rights record. Pyongyang has accused the United States of advancing its own agenda by spearheading the initiative. Its Foreign Minister Kim Song-gyong called plans for the open meeting despicable. A first of its kind since 2017, the meeting is taking place on Thursday as the United States holds the presidency of the Security Council for a month. Although China and Russia are likely to block the proceedings, American officials are confident that they have the necessary votes to proceed. American envoy to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, said the Security Council must address the horrors, abuses and crimes perpetrated by the North Korean government led by Kim Jong-un. Since 2006, North Korea has also been under UN sanctions because of its ballistic missile and nuclear programs. Human rights activists have claimed that they are unable to gain access to top leaders of Niger after they were detained after the coup by the military. 3 weeks ago, the military overthrew the democratically elected government of President Mohamed Bazoum. While there are reports that Mr. Bazoum and his family are under detention, the military also arrested several former ministers and political leaders. Requests to visit them and check on their health and well-being have gone unanswered. The junta's spokesperson, Colonel Major Amadou Abdarrahmani, said that the detained persons are being treated in a humane manner and there are no pressing health issues. However, the junta has revealed its plans to prosecute the president for high treason and undermining state security, which carry the death penalty in the West African country. A few days before India celebrated its Independence Day on the 15th of August, a church dedicated to the nation's first saint was desecrated near the western metropolis of Mumbai. Vandals attacked the church of St. Gonzalo Garcia in Vasai on the 11th of August. According to the vicar, Father Peter Almeida, vandals destroyed a work of art on the altar, threw a statue of the Virgin on the floor, and displaced the cathedra and the baptismal font. He said that after filing a complaint with the police, liturgical celebrations were restarted the following day. The vandalism was condemned by Archbishop Felix Machado of Vasai, who said he was aware of the wound caused to the religious sentiments of the faithful. He also implored them to remain calm and desist from spreading rumours on social media. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow for more, and do remember you can always visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.